Hey everybody. Well, today I'm going to do a little review on my internet service provider and let you know what kind of service they have given me as a company here in the Tucson area. We started with them about 30 months ago, and the name of the company is Y-Power. They are affiliated with, I believe it's Cherry Hill Broadcasting, and they're based out of Florida. They've teamed up in this area with Trico Electric, and that's how they got their in out here with people looking at them. So about 30 months ago, we started with Y-Power. We had both their internet and their VoIP phone. And from about week number one, we started calling, going, hey, this thing's horrible. People can't understand us. We can't understand them. It drops calls, every call. It's not like we get some calls, we don't get some calls. We're dropping all the calls. Oh, let us keep working with you. Please don't turn it off, they tell us. 11 months. We worked with them trying to get that phone to work properly. And finally I said, take the phone out. And I said, now about a refund that you have been talking to us about for the last 11 months. Oh yes, we'll get right with the supervisor and get that taken care of. Well, here just a couple of days ago, I called him and said, you guys, it's, you know, the ball got dropped, whatever. Sorry that I haven't been hassling you on a weekly basis, although I have called once or twice. I said, well, it's time to get this straightened up. It's time for us to get our refund for the $300 that we paid for a non-working phone for 11 months. And I had a kid get back on the phone and say with me, well, since we didn't charge you for changing your service and disconnecting your phone, you're not eligible for a refund. That was your refund. And I said, a refund of charge for discontinuing a service that never worked? And he said, well, yes, sir. I said, that's interesting. The mafia works the same way. And, he just kind of chuckled and went on, but that was it. Actually, it was a she on that particular phone call. And the reason I was making the other portion of the phone call was about 6 weeks ago, they called and said, we need to make some upgrades to your router because we're changing our service around and we want you to be able to get into the new service. And ever since then, my speeds have been horribly slow, back to a crawl. By the way, for about 6-8 months, things worked along real well. They put a new radio on the house. The speeds have been good. In fact, I had no complaints when the guy called to tell me that he needed to change the router settings. Our router had been working fine. Our speeds had been fine. I had no real complaints. In fact, I had no complaints whatsoever. So they changed over the router, and all of a sudden, man, I got speeds instead of, a minimum of 1.5 megabytes. I've got speeds in the evenings, 0.3, 0.5, 0.2. Really low speeds. And when I called them and I said, look, we need to get this fixed, they said, oh, yes, yes, oh, yes, we see what's happening. They put us on monitoring for a couple of weeks. Send a technician out with a new style of radio, some kind of code hopping radio that channel surfs. And he said, you're going to really like this, and I really do. Except about once an hour, I lose connectivity to the internet. I appear to still have connectivity to the tower from my radio and from my router to my radio, but I get server can't be found or unknown server error, and sometimes it even just crashes the browser, which I don't get. I mean, it just locks it up and we're done. So I call them back and I say, I'm having a problem. And they say, oh, we don't see that. We don't see that you're having any kind of problem. Oh, your router must be bad. Well, I had a small freak out because that would have made the 5th router that was burned up with these guys. Well, it wasn't burned up. One bad. Radio wasn't bad, but on Friday they sent a technician out who put in a new radio and new router. I'm still shutting off about every 45 minutes to an hour. And today the kid was bold enough to tell me, like I'm not a modern household. Well, you have over 8 devices in that house. And I said, no, I have over 15 devices in this house that cannot hook. They can hook up to that router, just they are not. We got a Chromecast and an Android. You have 3 Androids, and I said, that's right. And he said, and you have 3 of your own computers. I said, that's right. And there seems to be another computer hooked up. I said, and that's right also. He said, and that's a total of 8 devices. And I said, that's right. And he said, well, no wonder your speed's bad. And I said, did you ever listen to anything I said? The speed's fine. And then I said, if you want, I can start hooking up things like, the PlayStation games. I can start hooking up the Wii's. I can start hooking up the Xbox. I can turn on the Wi-Fi DVD players. I mean, do you want me to continue going with this list? And he said, well, I said, this is a modern household. Okay, but not everything is hooked to the internet at the same moment. Just because they're sitting there idling doesn't mean that they're actually pulling down information. And the reason I called today is since 5 o'clock this morning, I have been trying to download Mint 17, the RC, and just see what I think of it. I can't stay connected to the internet long enough to receive the download. Very frustrating. Very frustrating. My bottom line with this company is that they have never given me the internet speeds that they advertise or charge me for. I get very little time of consistent service. I have spent much more time with zero service. When being promised a refund, I've been lied to. This company has to take the all-time high as a bad service provider. If you're watching this and you're thinking about using them, please, I want you to research the people in your area, what their speeds are like, what their connections are like. I understand that in some portions of this town it works very well, but I got to tell you, out here in Sarita, it does not work well at all. In Green Valley, from what they tell me, it does not work well at all. And I have heard people logging complaints in Marana, just about every outlying area that they service, Vale. So I think their biggest problem is that they oversell their equipment and then blame the client, which is today what he was trying to do with, oh, you have 8 devices that are internet ready. That has nothing to do with your equipment losing the internet and dropping out. And I believe they have oversold the particular tower that I'm on and will not admit to it and want me to continue working with it and suffer through it. I've also heard really good things about a new company in town, Blues Pan. And it's as soon as I can get away from these guys, that's where I intend to go, because I have no choice. I can't get Cox. My choice is this or dial-up. And I think since Blues Pan is in this neighborhood, I will truly try and switch over to them. Anyway, that's the end of this for the day. Worst company I've ever worked with. They're even worse than T-Mobile. I have to say that. And T-Mobile was pretty frustrating. I could call T-Mobile and go, hey, you show a credit on my bill, and they go, that's wrong. And I go, then why did you put it there? We don't know. You put it there because you were supposed to refund me that money. No, we did. Did we? I don't know. Can we research that? I mean, spend my whole life with T-Mobile like that. They wonder why I moved back to Verizon. Oh, well. But listen, Blues, White Power, bad idea. So, to all my friends, family, and loved ones, there's my best information for the week. See you bye.